Inside Tennessee, breaking down our latest primary election. And one of the things that matters in elections traditionally is money. John North, you've looked at some of those numbers. And also, John, I want you to speak to this because you've seen a lot of elections. A lot of candidates try to raise money early to say, look at how much I've got in the bank. You don't really want to challenge me.
It's like James Bond at Casino Royale. Who's got the most chips in Monte Carlo or wherever? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting. It was interesting to see people like Larson J., at-large incumbent, with $100K sitting there, or Devin Driscoll, who had a lot of money as well. They had a lot of money on the table. They spent a lot of money. Our most recent financial disclosures are through like the second or third week of April. So they spent more than that, obviously, as we got to the final primary day. The big spenders were sheriff's candidates, which you would have expected, Spangler more than Jones. And as I mentioned, I think Driscoll and Larson J. were the big ones. I wonder if we will see so much money spent for the general. I think maybe this is sort of the wave has crashed, if you will.
100,000 plus. We know it's going to be more than that when the new financials come out, as John mentioned. Susan, if somebody's out there thinking, hey, I want to run for a county commission, how much money do they need to bring to the table?
Well, based on this election, a lot. But I think generally, if I talk to potential candidates, you've got to be able to raise at least $50,000, and that's mailers and getting your cards, your push cards, and if you have a headquarters, that kind of thing. But in this case, we did see a lot of television advertising for county commission seat, and when you get into television, as you all know, it gets much more expensive. But generally, you could run a county commission seat for at least 50, no less than 50 probably.
Don, any perspective on money before we turn back to another race?
Well, I mean, very quickly, I think the first time we really saw it in this county, we go all the way back to Mike Ragsdale, and Mike was able to scare off all challengers for then county executive, become county mayor by title, with a huge war chest before he started, and everybody stayed out. It's really unfortunate that you've got to have this much money to be competitive and to get into it, but it is the way of the world. I think Susan's right. 50 is the entry fee. Get ready to spend more than that if you want to win.
We're going to turn to school board in a minute, but I want to stick with the county commission. We saw Larson J., who's an incumbent, former commission chair, taking on newcomer Steve Weiner, and won that race 56% to 43%. Don, your take on it?
A little closer than we all thought. Remember, Larson, the hard right, sort of got the mythology out there that Larson really was a rhino, Republican in name only, was too moderate, got along too much with people, was very pro-science, pro-mask. Let's listen to our health department and county health director, and that upset some of the hard right, and he paid for it by way of a small percentage, but I'm really glad Larson won the Republican primary again. I know people will say, you're a Democrat, Don, and that's why you like him. No, I like him because he's sensible, and we need sensible Democrats and Republicans running our county.
He does have a challenger in the general. Susan, what do you make of that race before we turn to mayor?
I think Larson is going to win. I think he got 15,000 votes. The Democrat got 7,000, which might have been a little bit more, frankly, than I would have expected in the Democrat primary. But Larson has a lot of name ID. He's got a lot of cash on hand to run in the general, and I just don't see any upsets there.
John, we had the three Democrats who were running for county mayor on our broadcast. Your questions for Don and Susan on that race?
Well, I thought maybe that Givens would give a better run against Helsley than he did. I mean, you look at the numbers and it's pretty clear Helsley was going to be the winner. I wonder, she'll have good hardcore Democrat turnout. I wonder what her appeal would be beyond that.
Well, Debbie Helsley's been very active in the Democratic Party locally for a long time. And given the small turnout, it demonstrates to me that the real Democrats, the people that always vote Democrat, showed up. They voted. They knew her from the party. Doesn't surprise me that she won by the margin she won. She's going to be, campaigning and competing against literally an international star in Glenn Jacobs. And so it's going to be a tough battle. But there are some people that aren't happy with Mayor Jacobs. I don't know if it's enough to make it a competitive race, but of the three, I'm not surprised by her winning and the margins, and she's the only one that has any shot at all at keeping it competitive with Mayor Jacobs.
Yeah, and Glenn got 25,000 votes. I mean, that's pretty strong. There may
uncontested
be
votes.
It was uncontested, but you don't always have to. You don't have to vote if you don't want to in that race. And so he got, I think, the largest number of any votes in the whole election this time. I think he's-
25,000 people took the time to color in a box
in
that they didn't
box,
need to.
exactly. And I think he's strong. Yes, there are a few people that got upset during all the whole mask controversy in the Board of Health, you know, the Public Health Department. But he's really strong, and he's done a really good job as mayor. And this past week, he announced there'd be no new taxes, which will always help. So
announced his new budget, which is almost $1 billion.
Right,
We finally
I
got
noticed
there.
that.
And,
Right.
and hopefully no more shirtless pictures too.
But he is promising a pay increase as well in that budget.
Pay increase for uniformed officers, captain and
Under
below.
captain, yeah.
That's something that Spangler's been pushing. Let's be honest, for law enforcement, you have to dangle more money, whether it's KPD, KCSO,
Yeah.
wherever, to get more cops to want
And
to do this.
teachers.
And teachers.
We've got to take a quick break on Inside Tennessee. We're back to talk about the school board races that are set up for August, and also what we saw on the primary election night, and also a race that's outside of Knox County. Don Bosch is watching closely. More of that when we come back.